It's time for an Out and About with Jamie Grout podcast, and this time we speak with Captain Tim North of the Salvation Army in Newton. I always love talking to Tim. Part of it is because we connected on a whole nother level other than the Salvation Army when he first came to Newton. You see, he was in the media many years ago, both in radio and television. We know some of the same radio people. And he's a great guy to talk to about that aspect, but also about what's going on at the Salvation Army, which we do today. We talk about the history of the Newton Salvation Army, about the history of the Salvation Army in general, but of course, we also talk about the food pantry with the Salvation Army and of course, the thrift store and other ways the Salvation Army lends a helping hand to the community and Jasper County in general. So hang on for this podcast with the Salvation Army. One aspect that I want to talk about, too, is that, you generally hear about the Salvation Army during the Red Kettle campaign when you hear the bell ringers at the various stores around the area. And you don't hear about them this time of year, unfortunately. And because of that, donations are down. So it's one of those out of sight, out of mind kind of situations with the Salvation Army. And we certainly don't like to hear about donations being down at the Salvation Army because they need help year round. And so if money is burning a hole in your pocket and you can possibly help the Salvation Army, by golly, lend a helping hand to the Salvation Army, the food pantry, or the thrift store. If you happen to go to the grocery store, by golly, pick up an extra canned good or non-perishable item and take it to the Salvation Army food pantry on 2nd Avenue in Newton and help out those who are less fortunate and help them out, or make a monetary donation of some kind. All right, let's talk about our wonderful sponsors that we have, including Wesley Life Park Center. It's a great organization, and my sister spent the last years of her life at Wesley Life Park Center, and for a time, she went to the Wesley Life Adult Day Center, Willowbrook, and really enjoyed her time at Willowbrook. Make your loved one's day by enrolling them in Willowbrook, a Wesley Life Adult Day Center. Willowbrook on the Park Center campus provides a welcoming and stimulating environment that allows participants to maintain independence while receiving support and encouragement. Social engagement, companionship, and enriching opportunities are provided to give participants a purposeful and fulfilling day. Willowbrook's person-centered care includes exercise focused on total health and well-being, and programming that includes music therapy, pet therapy, guest speakers, outings, and much more. If you'd like to learn more about Willowbrook, call 641-791-4500 to arrange a tour. Willowbrook is just a part of Park Center, a Wesley Life community, and you should think about enrolling your loved one in Willowbrook if they are at Park Center. It's a great outreach area of Park Center. Another fine sponsor of Out and About with Jamie Grout's podcast include the fine folks at Newton Clinic. They do a great job there at Newton Clinic, and my personal doctor is Dr. Dwayne Jolivet. He does a fantastic job. I've been with him for several years now, and the new school year will be here before we know it. And now is the perfect time to check important health needs off your list. Pediatrician Dr. Mike Metz, Mercy One Newton Medical Center Clinic pediatrician, does great care for the kids, and he provides comprehensive care for your child, including well child checks, school physicals, sports physicals, vaccine management, and mental and behavioral health support. Make sure your child is healthy, ready, and confident for the school year ahead. Schedule your school and sports physical online today with Dr. Metz online from the Facebook page at Mercy One Newton Medical Center, or you can give them a call at Mercy One. And also want to plug Kenzie Heiser. She's the newest provider at Mercy One Newton Clinic. She, I believe, came from Pella, but she does a great job, and she'll take good care of your family too. Kenzie Heiser, newest provider at Newton Clinic. Be treated like family at Newton Clinic. Another fine sponsor of the Out and About with Jamie Grout podcast is Advantage Credit Union.
Let us pay you for checking with us. Hi, Hi, this is Leslie with Advantage Credit Union, inviting you to take advantage of Cha-Ching Rewards Checking. Earn 3% APY on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $25 per month that ACU pays you. No minimum balance, no monthly fees. Simply do the things you're already doing and cash in at the credit union. Apply online at acuiowa.org or visit us in downtown Newton.
APY is annual percentage yield. Restrictions apply. Federally insured by the NCUA.
It's time for another Out and About with Jamie Grout podcast, and this time around, we're going to talk with Captain Tim North of the Salvation Army. Now, normally, you hear about the Salvation Army during the Red Kettle campaign at Christmas, but here we are in the summertime, and you don't hear much about the Salvation Army. So I wanted to do a podcast with Tim because it comes to be sometimes out of sight, out of mind. And we don't want the Salvation Army to be out of sight or out of your mind because, good heavens, well, that doesn't sound good, does it? Out of your mind.
Hopefully, well, maybe blow your mind. No.
We don't want it to sound too weird, but
no.
But we don't want people to forget about the Salvation
Right.
Army this time of year because the Salvation Army is a year-round kind of thing,
Right.
and you guys are doing great work all the time. And we're going to talk about the food pantry and the thrift store and all the things that you guys do, disaster
Right.
relief,
Yeah.
because I turn on TV and I hear about disasters going on not only around our nation, but around
Right.
the world too.
Absolutely.
Tim. But I want to talk about, first of all, the history of the Salvation Army, especially in Newton. And I found out from prior podcasts that the Salvation Army in Newton goes way back. Tell us about that.
Well, if you look at some of the history, we arrived in Newton about 1890. And I say about because that's when they have the first records of it. We have been around since then. And if you really look at it, the first official, we bounced around buildings throughout Newton, and I've tried to look up all of those. Can't find out, a little bit of that information. But our biggest one, if you really want to look at it, goes back to 1925, is when the first building that was built literally down the street from us here.
Yes, I remember when it was on First Avenue West, the Citadel,
Yep.
and it wasn't far from my dad's real estate and insurance office.
Right. That was the first one that was really built that we stayed in. Before it was kind of temporary. We'd moved from place to place, but we were still here serving Newton, from 1890 to today. And, that's just been a day or two, that we've been in the community. But it's great to have that heritage. We're nothing new. We're not something that is just popped up in the last year or two. So to me, that means that there's a lot of root here in Newton with the Salvation Army and Newton.
Well, and I think I've told you this, and I want to tell people, that I can remember where the Best Western is located in Newton. There used to be a big lumber yard. It was called Newton Building Center. It was very popular. In fact, in that area, there was another lumber yard too, Denniston and Partridge at one time. But Newton Building Center was there. And when I was a kid, there was a huge fire there. I can remember I was riding my bike at Maytag Park, and I heard about it, heard all the sirens, and I rode my bike downtown. And man, there were fire trucks from all over the Jasper County area putting out that blaze. And wouldn't you know, just right away, the Salvation Army were in the parking lot right across the street giving out donuts and treats and other things. And, and that you speak about donuts, and it just seems like maybe a month or two ago, they were celebrating an anniversary of the Salvation Army, talking about the donut ladies.
Yep,
Tell us about that.
Well, actually, that goes back to the wars. World War I, as a matter of fact. And the Salvation Army had served in the war as a refuge area where the soldiers and stuff could come get coffee and get donuts. There's actually a recipe out about with the first Salvation Army donut. I've tried it. I don't know. It doesn't taste quite as good as the ones now. But
from the Maid-Rite.
Yeah. And but if you look at it, they were serving coffee. They were giving food. ultimately they also were giving what we now call like emotional and spiritual care to the soldiers and stuff. We've been embedded in lots of wars throughout the year where we would serve and we would make sure that the soldiers and everybody involved were getting food. There was a gentleman, it's been years ago, that I talked to, but he served in the Korean War. And how he remembers the Salvation Army is they went through, he was, I think in the Army, they were going through on a convoy, and the Salvation Army would pitch sack lunches into the trucks as they went by. And he says, that just made an impression on him. Kind of talk about innovative, but we were wanting to make sure that they were taken care of, that they weren't going without. And it all started, honestly, back with World War I and what we call the donut girls. Matter of fact, it was, I think, the 5th or 6th, it's National Donut Day. That's a big thing. I know everybody uses it for other things, but it really comes back to the Salvation Army and the donuts and celebrating, that heritage that we do and that we've had. We've changed a little bit. We may not serve donuts, but we serve, all kinds of things, and that's part of our disaster relief. In the wars have been, and hopefully we don't have to have any more wars, but we were known for our donuts during the wars.
Yeah. My grandfather was a medic in World War I.
Wow.
So I never met him. He passed away before I was even born, but boy, I always, I'm hoping when I go to that great radio station in the sky that I meet him. Let's transition to your services. And the food pantry you have here is near and dear to my heart.
Oh, absolutely.
Having been in radio, I've done a number of food drives. I have a plaque at home from the Northeast Iowa Food Pantry. I've luckily been involved in raising 250 tons of food.
Wow. That's just a couple.
Yeah, just a couple over the years. I've lived on the roof of malls, literally lived up there. I had a tent and a porta potty up there with me. I've lived on buses for food drives. And part of that all goes back to the Bible, where I guess Jesus said something to the effect of, if you fed the hungry, you fed me. And the Salvation Army sure proves that, especially here in Newton with the food pantry. Just give us an overview of what the food pantry is all about, Tim.
Well, first of all, we're here to help those who are food insecure. Sometimes, and we all live in this day and age where it seems like a dollar does not go anywhere near what it used to. And food costs and everything have gone up. Everything's gone up, but paychecks haven't gone up.
Right, and the SNAP benefits too.
Oh yeah,
they got cut off, and I think people haven't rebounded from that.
Oh
either.
No, they haven't. So what kind of the aim is if you really look at it, is it's helping to make sure people have food. You're getting some things that'll get them by. And part of that might be that instead of having to buy food, I can pay for my prescription. We find that a lot in seniors, because Medicare isn't paying for everything, so they got to look. Okay, how am I going to do that? So if we can get them food, that can free up some money to ultimately help pay for, prescriptions or rent or whatever it may be. That's a basic need of life. We average around, we're pushing 300 cases a month that we serve, and I looking at then if you take, was it the 2.5 American homes, you're talking six to 800 people that we serve in a month. That's not even including, if you're looking at it on the food pantry, we actually have a food shelf out here in our lobby where people stop by and can grab, eat, grab and eat, go type things. There's sandwiches. There's, maybe even depending upon the day. There might even be some Pop-Tarts. There may be some pudding. There may be things that you can grab and go.
And I know on Tuesdays after Rotary,
Yep.
what is not eaten at Rotary,
Right.
you bring back here.
Yep. And that's all boxed up and put into our front lobby so people can grab a meal and go. So, I mean, and with that, you add probably another 50, 60 people per week that are grabbing and going. So it's if you really add all that together, you add 50 plus. Well, we're probably 500 plus.
Wow.
If you look at it on that aspect that we see. So the need is great. I mean, food is one of those things that it's such an insecurity.
And it's a no questions asked kind of situation
Correct.
with you guys,
Yep.
isn't it?
Yep. Especially the front lobby. That's pretty much just grab and go. Make sure you're not, we just ask that, you don't take 20 sandwiches for one person or something, just be reasonable. But we do have, we're coming up on July 1st. There is some paperwork that you have to fill out once a year. Part of that is so that we can help, that we can get resources from the food bank. They require us once a year to do that. So, and it also helps us update everything. But it's just fill it out, fill those papers out, and, we'll get you set up. It's like once every 30 days. Again, with the food pantry, it's very simple. Give us a call, and we'll get you set up. And matter of fact, a lot of it can be done all over the phone. You tell us exactly here's what I'm needing, and when you arrive, it'll be ready for you.
Wow.
So it's like a, full service.
Well, and speaking of the food bank of Iowa, they're stressed out too
Yep.
because of the diesel prices.
Oh, diesel. We've found sometimes we're not getting the resources that we used to get from them because they're not getting the resources. Part of it is you go buy a diesel pump. I think it's came down, but at one point I know it was $5 plus, a gallon for diesel, and to transport that stuff. But I know some of our resources come down. We can't get the stuff that we used to get from them only because they're not getting it either. So it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah. It is unfortunate because we need to keep these people fed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Nutrition is huge for people. If you look at it, nutrition, if you're hungry, you don't think well.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a physical thing. So it really, if you look at it, it's a physical, mental, and emotional thing that you're dealing with.
Speaking of not thinking well, this weather that we're having this week is crazy, and if people don't have air conditioner, some relief. It does play tricks on your mind. Can the Salvation Army help out in any of those ways, Tim?
What we can do is, if you don't have air conditioning, absolutely swing by, stop. You can cool down in the building, that type of thing. We'll make sure there's plenty of water out here. That's a big thing. We do, part of our thing is we do help with utilities to a point. And I say that because we're getting to this time of year where you don't hear the red bells out. Or red bells. Yeah, we have some red bells, but anyway,
the bells ringing.
The bells
Red
ringing.
Kettle campaign.
Red Kettle campaign.
Yeah.
But so funding is a little bit tight this time of year. People are on vacations too. Kids are out of school doing different things. But we do have some help with rent or utilities. We don't have a fan drive here yet, but that's something we probably really do need to look into. But honestly, during this time, if you need a spot to stop, cool off, get some water, stop by the building.
All right. Let's move to the thrift store. And we've talked about the food pantry. Let's transition to that. Give us an overview of what the thrift store is all about.
Our
Tim.
thrift store is actually not doing too bad. I'll promote Donations. You got clothes in your closet you don't know what to do with, give them to the Salvation Army. Because what ends up happening is the process behind it is it may come in our back door, it's sorted, hung, put out onto the racks. And the big thing is ultimately the proceeds from every sale goes right back to our community. Of course, there's some overhead. You've got lights, utilities, you've got employees, those type of things. But the goal is that we make above that, and that money that is raised above that really goes back to the food pantry. Goes back to it's kind of a full circle. Mm-hmm. You know, you rent, utilities, and putting back into the community. So, and my big thing my big plug for our thrift store is it is local. Mm-hmm. Everything stays local. If it's dropped off here, it does not go anywhere else. It's sold, you know, or we do process some things that aren't great, but it all comes back to Newton. It doesn't go anywhere else. It stays. Every bit of it is to help people within Jasper County.
Well, that is fantastic. So let's go back to the food pantry, and then we can talk about the thrift store. What are the hours for the food pantry, and what are the hours for the thrift store?
Okay. Food pantry, we're here Monday through Friday. This week, of course, you know, with the 4th of July, we're not open on Friday.
Okay.
And that's from 9 to noon and 1 to 4. Mm-hmm. But again, with that one, call ahead of time, get your appointment. You don't even have to. It's a 5-minute wait. You know, the other thing, and I forgot to mention with the food pantry, going back what we were talking about, is bread line. We have a bread line that meets here on Fridays from like 9 to 11. But of course, with this being a holiday weekend, we won't be doing that on Friday. Where you can come in, and we say bread line. It's hard telling what you can get. Again, it's just another extension of the pantry. But there's usually, you know, sweets, there's breads, there's sometimes vegetables. Again, it depends upon the time of year that you can just come in and get.
And what you have available, I suppose.
It's what's all available. That's Friday from 9 to 11, minus a holiday, you know. But the thrift store, their hours are 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday. So
okay, great. If people want to make a donation to the Salvation Army, I'm sure you'll designate where it goes. Yeah. But if they want to be specific, I suppose they would put that on the notation part of the check or whatever.
Absolutely. If somebody writes a check and wants it to go to a specific, you know, such as food pantry or utilities or the front lobby food, those type things. If they put that on there, we earmark it to go to that specific request that they make.
Well, we don't wish away summer or fall.
No.
But the Red Kettle campaign.
It will be coming sooner than you know. Matter of fact, this month we'll be working on getting stuff all set up, ready to go. You know, there's days I wish I could do Christmas in July.
I bet you do.
I don't know, though, if it was going to be as warm as it is this week.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want the heat or the cold. My big philosophy is I can always put more clothes on. I can't take enough off until people get upset. Anyway, with it is coming out soon. Stay tuned. Keep looking at our Facebook page, please. Sure. I will put an announcement out because this year we're doing things just a little bit different. We're moving to a different software for our signups. My higher ups keep telling me it's going to be easier. We hope.
Yeah.
Please bear with us. If not, just give us a call if it comes to that time of signing up. But we're going to be kind of nailing down where we're going to be, and we'll start getting that stuff rolled out. So hopefully by August you can start signing up and looking and hoping that the day that you sign up is going to be the most beautiful day in December, right?
Okay. Yeah, we hope so. We hope so. All right, Tim. Anything you want to add before we wrap up today, Tim?
No, just the whole thing of, you know, this time of year, of course, you know, and we talked about it, you know, we Our donations are down. So just please remember us. We don't stop at any time. We serve 24/7, 365. And that's something, and we've not had to talk about the disasters, which is wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
And I only say that because we've not had a lot local.
Yeah. But there are disasters going on in Venezuela.
Yep.
I turn on the TV and I hear about floods and fires all over the place. And I know the Salvation Army are there. They're kind of low under the radar.
Yeah, we always are. A lot of times, if you look on the disasters, and okay, I'm going to toot our own horn. We're first in, last out.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to admit, working on disasters, we arrive and we do not move until the emergency management, or what we call incident command at that point, whoever's incident command says you're free. We will stay to the end. And, disasters are something we never hope for, but it's one of the things that a couple calls and we've got a lot of resources that we could pull in. The advantage is, and to give away a little bit is, besides handling Newton and Jasper County, I happen to be responsible for I'll give you the long term to begin with and explain exactly what it is. It is Divisional Disaster Emotional and Spiritual Care Coordinator. So I cover Iowa, South Dakota, and Nebraska. I'm responsible for making sure we have chaplains in each location. Wow. The advantage is a lot of times I can do mine sitting here at my office.
Oh, well, that's convenient.
If I've got a chaplain that's available in that area, because we honestly, in our disasters, we've found over the years, we need somebody, because when you're going through a lot, let's say you've got a tornado, you've just lost a house, that takes a toll on you. Typical Salvation Army, we're not going to beat you over the head with a Bible. We're there for you if that's what you need, but we're going to be there and walk alongside you.
Sure. Doing God's work, that's for sure.
Yep.
All right. Our interview guest today has been Tim North, captain of the Salvation Army. And hey, we can't get out of here without plugging your wife.
Oh, yes.
Co-captain.
She's probably the better one. I mean, of course, the better looking.
Yeah, Peggy North. And you give her our regards, please.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. You bet. He's been our interview guest on this edition of Out and About with Jamie Grout. Other fine sponsors of the Out and About with Jamie Grout podcast include Lynette Baker, Halo Branded Solutions, along with Westside Java Coffee Bar, a great place to hang out and enjoy your fine espressos, your mocha lattes, or whatever fine, refreshing drinks you might want to enjoy. And don't forget their drive-up that they have in the alley there at Westside Java Coffee Bar. Also, Made Right Sandwich Shop, serving breakfast 7 days a week. James is a great cook. And coming up this Thursday, they have their meatloaf special. You can bet you by golly wow that I will be in to get that meatloaf. It is delish. Also, Lynn Donahue and the gang at Jersey Freeze. It's sure to please at Jersey Freeze in Monroe. Until next time, grrr, out is out. See ya.